What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to run through 6 of the best waiver wire targets from week 1 in the NHL. These players are all below 50% owned in ESPN and Yahoo, so there's a good chance some of them will be available in your leagues. Before we start this video, let's hop over to our player of the day. In this segment, I will give you a random stat that's associated with the player, and in the comment section below, it is your job to figure out who that player is. The random stat today is, this player led the league in individual Corsi 4 last season with 602, 50 more than the player behind him. Who is this player? Leave your answers in the comment section below. The first player you should look to pick up on waivers is Rasmus Andersson of the Calgary Flames. My preseason prediction was correct, and Andersson has now taken over Giordano's spot on the top power play unit and has seen a big uptick in minutes in the home opener. In the Flames' first game, Andersson played over 24 minutes and led defensemen in power play time with 3 minutes and 31 seconds. It's clear that Andersson is now the top option on Calgary, as we saw Giordano play just 19 minutes against the Jets. At the time of this video, Andersson is owned by 6.5% of people on ESPN and just 8% of people on Yahoo. Andersson is a must-own defenseman, so make sure you add him before more people become aware of him. The second waiver wire target, and someone that I've been talking about for the last month, is the infamous Matt Grzelcyk. I was very curious to see how the Bruins would use him, and to my excitement, he played over 24 minutes against the Devils. Grzelcyk was second on the team for 5-on-5 time on ice, with over 15 minutes played. On top of that, Grzelcyk led the team in power play time, playing 5 minutes and 51 seconds, and adding an assist and 2 shots. Grzelcyk is the clear top option for the Bruins power play. That's only going to get better with the return of David Pastrnak. Right now, Grzelcyk is owned by 34.6% of people on ESPN and 50% of people on Yahoo. When Pastrnak returns to the roster, Grzelcyk is only going to benefit from this. He's a must-own right now in all leagues. Nils Hoglander is the next player you should look to pick up for your fantasy team. In the first game of Vancouver, Nils played over 16 minutes and saw a minute and 36 on the power play, which was 5th most behind the Big Four and the Canucks. On top of this, Hoglander also scored his first NHL goal on a rebound off of a Tanner Pearson shot. In Game 2 against the Oilers, Hoglander was very impressive. He played 13 minutes and 48 seconds, 5-on-5 with Pearson and Horvat, and added an extra 8 minutes of power play time. This is very promising for fantasy owners because on top of playing on the second line, Hoglander is also playing on the top power play unit. The Vancouver power play is extremely good and should start to see more production as the season progresses. Hoglander was a must-own when he was skating on the second line, but he's now definitely a must-own when he's getting all these power play minutes. People are still not excited about him yet, as his ownership on ESPN is only 10.6% and just 14% on Yahoo. Keep an eye on Hoglander. If his minutes stay consistent, he should be a must-own for the entire year. The next player you should look to pick up is Robert Thomas of the St. Louis Blues. Thomas is someone that I was really intrigued by going into this season. He's moved up to the second line and is now centering Jaden Schwartz and Mike Hoffman, who are 2 solid top 6 players in the league. The only concern with Thomas is something you always hear me talk about, and it's his minutes. Thomas only saw 12 minutes 5-on-5 in the game against Colorado, but still managed to have 2 assists. In Game 2 for the Blues, they got blown out 8-0 by the Avs, but there are some positives to take away from Thomas. With the debut of Mike Hoffman, we saw Thomas's minutes move up to 17:45, and he finished the game with 2 shots and a block. If Thomas can maintain these minutes, he shouldn't have a hard time against the other teams in their division. The Blues have some very favorable matchups outside of Vegas and Colorado, and this is really important to keep in mind. On ESPN, Thomas's ownership is 15.6%, and his Yahoo ownership is just 20%. He had a strong season as a 21-year-old and has now earned a spot in the top 6. We expect Thomas to have a solid season this year for the Blues. Up next is Martin Necas of the Carolina Hurricanes. The 2017 12th overall pick had 36 points in 64 games last season, playing just 14 minutes per night. Necas has now moved up to the second line this season with Svechnikov and Stahl, and we are confident he'll begin to see more minutes. In Carolina's first game against Detroit, Necas played 14 minutes 5-on-5 with an additional minute 24 on the power play. If Necas can maintain his spot in the second line and continue to see power play minutes, he could be extremely valuable this season. The downside with Necas is he doesn't have a high shot total, so he could be more valuable in points leagues. On ESPN, we see Necas owned by only 14.9% of people and just 8% on Yahoo. Necas has tremendous goal and point upside, and he's someone you should look to pick up for your fantasy team. The last player that you should look at picking up in your free agency is Alexander Romanov. In his highly anticipated debut, Romanov impressed everyone. The 2018 38th overall pick had a lot of hype leading up to Wednesday night's matchup against the Leafs. He ended the game 4th on the team for 5-on-5 minutes, playing 15 minutes and 21 seconds. To add to that, Romanov was also 2nd for power play time on the team. Montreal loves to split up their power play units, but it's clear last game that Julian wants Romanov to be the quarterback for the Montreal power play. The big concern for the Canadiens' backhand is that they don't have too much offense, but Romanov may be the answer for them. He looked fantastic against Toronto, and it was obvious that he had a ton of confidence. To cap off his great performance, Romanov recorded his first NHL point on a sweet cross-ice feed to Tatar for a breakaway goal. Romanov is currently owned by 11.9% of people on ESPN and just 21% of people on Yahoo. That'll do it for our top waiver wire pickups. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, and if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. I'm looking at streaming every Sunday night to answer all of your fantasy hockey questions, as well as recapping the first week of hockey. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.